2025 means bye-bye humans, hello AI, and climate change is going to kickstart tours to the tropical Antarctica. But 2025 also means that the infamous COVID-19 pandemic is now half a decade ago. Shocking, right? Time is flying fast, and I don't think I'm the only one who feels like we're still stuck in 2020, right before the world was turned upside down by the COVID-19 lockdown. It was a time of raw emotions, uncertainty, and death. However, as Leonard Cohen once said, there's a crack in everything. That's how the light gets in. My name is Srinidhi, and I'm here to shine that light your way and share with you 3 life lessons I took away from the COVID-19 pandemic. My first lesson is on situations. We don't get positives or negatives. We just get situations. The meaning we apply to them is up to us. Let me tell you a story. The pandemic was a situation that none of us expected, and one most would call negative. But looking back, I now mostly just remember the close bonds and quality time I could spend with my family. Whether it was dragging out board games from the deepest corners of our house, or enjoying nature's beauty on our terribly long walks. Even pretending to enjoy my parents' cooking experiments that went horribly wrong. My dad's khichdi phase was certainly something. It were those quiet moments that gave me the perseverance to keep going through a difficult situation. They gave me the strength and the support to realize that maybe the situation may not be all that bad. My family, like many others, did lose close ones during the time, and we did cry and grieve. At that time, those feelings of loss, grief, and frustration overshadowed these positive experiences with my family. In hindsight, a change in my perspective helps me see the other side to the situation. We couldn't change it, and we certainly didn't like it. But I changed what I could from my end, and now I can see those special memories as the diamonds in the rough. This brings me to my second takeaway. Any situation, even in the midst of adversity, can be turned into an opportunity for the better. My aunt is a great role model for this. After the passing of my uncle in 2021 due to COVID, she processed the grief, but then picked herself back up. She used the lockdown as an opportunity to turn her passion for clothing design into her own tailoring business. She gathered all the necessary equipment, developed her skills, began advertising, and gathered clients. She threw herself into her business, making it the successful company it is today. She could have let the pandemic and her loss weigh her down, but she turned it around for herself and created this golden opportunity, the rewards of which she's reaping today. So we see that even the most dire circumstances can be turned into an opportunity. And finally, my third and most important lesson, kindness. We saw the importance of kindness during the pandemic. It was a time where people found the need to come together and support each other in the face of this lockdown. Many families, including my own, created grocery distribution systems for the senior members of our neighborhood to help reduce their risk of exposure to the virus. A number of online support groups came up to help share and overcome lockdown challenges, isolation, losses, toilet paper. Such means of connection and communication, even if remotely, created safe spaces of support and care. These communities even rose to the occasion in the most dire situations, whether it was finding an oxygen tank to help save the life of a friend, or a vacant hospital bed to admit an infected family member. Ready at a moment's notice, these communities showed us the true meaning of humanity. Their significance was especially seen in moments with the absence of such care and compassion. Take, for instance, the racist discrimination against East Asian people. No one knew the cause of the virus, and people wanted something to blame. So, a selective group of our society was targeted and blamed for the cause of the virus. There was discrimination seen against East Asian people all across the globe, in America, Australia, even here in India. In the name of blaming them, the pandemic showed us how impactful and important kindness is for our society. As we found kindness coming from the most unexpected places, we learned that more than anything, being human is the most important. And the pandemic showed us that kindness is contagious. The real epidemic we need is one of kindness. I saw that no one is alone and no one will feel alone if we all learn to pass kindness onto the person next to us. And lastly, it's time to stop social distancing ourselves and not only learn to share kindness, but also learn to accept it when offered. I want to conclude by saying the pandemic wasn't something we just survived. It's something we're still learning from today. And maybe years from now, when we look back, the biggest takeaway might not be what we lost, but what we gained. I want you all to close your eyes for a moment and reflect on those 2 years. Go on, close your eyes. And now think of the problems you face today. Those 2 years weren't just lost binge watching Netflix, but taught us valuable lessons that we can carry with us for the rest of our lives. You can open your eyes now. The world is changing fast, and that change may not always be positive. We need to learn to accept every experience just as a situation and control the one thing we can, our perspective. And in a world filled with competition and adversity, we can't always wait for opportunities to fall on our laps. We must use our perspective to take every situation as an opportunity to make our lives just a little better, to be open, to be curious, and to explore the possibilities. And lastly, and most importantly, the timeless lesson. The lesson that brings us all together despite the circumstances of life. To see the kindness in every situation. Because, as John Milton once said, every cloud has a silver lining. Thank you.